Hi, so the day here in Wisconsin, this is where I'm at, that's all fog, has been so incredibly warm. It's really nice. Snow's melting though, and then it's been foggy for several days in a row. And I was looking at this whole weather pattern in the United States and reading about a multi-day severe weather event underway across the Gulf Coast and Southeast. Severe thunderstorms with very large hail, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes would be possible. And this also doesn't look all that good. So this is on the National Weather Service. So I went to IntelliCast and I was looking at the weather and then I was looking at the earthquakes, which are these dots. And I'm like, oh my God, this red one, the red ones are the last 6 hours. 7.9 in Penguana, Papua New Guinea at 4:30 GMT, and then an 8.0. Oh my God. So I'm going to find out more information about that. Not that this isn't important with the wind and the rain and everything here in the United States, and also these gray areas are earthquakes within the last 24 hours. But let's get rid of this for a minute. And this earthquake right here is interesting in Kentucky, and then we have these ones up here too in northern United States. But this is much worse right now. Possibly. Let me see what I can find out about it. Look at this. I'm on the RSOEEDIS, and 2 hours ago from the time where I'm at right now, there was a 7.9, an 8.0, an 8.0, and an 8.0. Oh, man. Let's look at the description here. Let's go into the first one. See what we can find. Summary. Medium deep. This is what the potential would be. Most buildings and their foundations are destroyed. Um, so I'm back on IntelliCast for a minute. I was wondering if this is on land, which it is. Okay. Alright, so now I clicked on the second one. Let's look at a map here. These are also volcanoes. I'm sorry, I've got a cold and I'm having these coughing fits. So let's look at the population. Oh, excuse me. According to this, it's lightly populated. Let's see what else we can find. Here on the USGS, they have 7.9, and they explain what happened here on January 22nd. 7.9 earthquake west of Pungna, Papua New Guinea occurred as a result of reverse faulting of an intermediate depth around 150 kilometers beneath the island of Bougainville, North Solomons. At the location of the earthquake, the Australian plate is converging with and subducting beneath the Pacific plate in an east-northeast direction at a rate of approximately 103 millimeters a year. At the location of the earthquake, some researchers consider the edges of the Australian and Pacific plates to be divided into several microplates that take up the overall convergence between Australia and the Pacific, including the Solomon Sea, the South Bismarck microplates,
local to the event. In this context, the January 22nd event occurred along the boundary between the Solomon Seal microplate and the Pacific Plate. So anyway, you can read this on your own. Um, that's not what I'm curious about right at the moment. Well, here on Earthquake Report, it says, good news, all tsunami warnings or advisories are now lifted, which is great, because we don't need that on top of an earthquake. Okay, so they're talking about minor sea level fluctuations may occur. Tsunami observations, following are tsunami waves observations. So it's not moving very much, which is fantastic. Now, I wanted to show you this article because I keep trying to read it. But when I try to read it and I go down, it completely disappears. So I'm getting some kind of block from the Asian correspondent. I will put this link below so maybe you can read it in your country. But it seems like I'm not able to. Watch what happens. There's a picture, and then boom. And this is what it shows right here. But it won't let me connect to anything. So I don't know what's going on. See what it says here. So anyway, let's see what else we got. I also want to show you this. On December 17th, which was just about a month ago, there was an 8.0 earthquake that struck in basically the same area with also a tsunami warning then. It's a very high earthquake region. So while looking for the earthquakes that happened today, I ran across this information about this earthquake that happened in Armenia. And in 30 seconds, it says half of Armenia was wiped out. 28 years ago, one of the worst disasters in the history of Armenia struck northwest of the country. As a result of the devastating earthquake, the town of Spitak was almost completely destroyed within 30 seconds. 25,000 people were killed, while 140,000 more were injured. The 10 magnitude quake struck on December 7, 1988 at 11:41 a.m. and affected more than 300 Armenian settlements. This was an awful thing that happened, and here's a video that I'll put the link on that also. So this video, I have the link below where it talks about the thing that I just read to you. It's a really short video, but there's also lots of other videos that talk about the same earthquake. Look at this person down here helping. Let's get that a little bit bigger for a minute. With a gas mask on. Look at this picture in this video. This was not bombing. This was an earthquake. 1988, Armenia. So then I found this video. Armenia, 1988. Independence of Armenia. And I started doing a lot of reading and a lot of digging, and it's very late and I'm tired right now. But I found that very interesting. So then I found this little history of Armenia, which is actually not little at all. It's very long. And I want to go down here to prehistory, which is funny because it was still history. Stone tools from 325,000 years ago have been found in Armenia, which indicate the presence of early humans at this time, unless something else was using tools. So that link will be below. Here's an interesting article about why Armenians are living fossil to geneticists, and they're connecting living Armenians to DNA. I'll get into this in just a minute.
Okay, this is a map of the world. And this right here where Armenia is no admixture uncertain. But what they're connecting it to, um, they found that Armenians show us signatures of an origin from the mixture of a diverse populations occurring 3000 to 2000 BCE, which incidentally coincides with the legendary founding of Armenia by the patriarch Hailek in 2492 BCE. This revelation was even picked up by the New York Times. Um, but there's more into here about the genetic. Moreover, they found that the modern Armenians show a great genetic affinity to ancient Europeans, meaning that Armenians of today, because of their isolation, have retained the genetic makeup of the ancient people of the Near East who have spread into Europe during various migration waves. And then you click on here and find out what they're talking about. And this is kind of sad that they dug out this burial site to discover that. More burial sites. So I'm going to stop. Here we also have this saying, Armenians are no migrants but constitute an indigenous population of the Armenian highlands that already has been established by countless previous genetic studies. And then you click on these different ones and it will give you more information. And there's this site, people of R know who you are. The hunt for Armenian treasures, and here's a few pictures. It is no secret that Armenia used to encompass a territory much larger than its modern republic. Most of Armenian historic territory lies in today's Turkey, the soil of which is drenched with antique history and no deficit of undiscovered archaeological sites. Especially the eastern parts of modern-day Turkey used to be inhabited by the Armenian people from times immemorial up to the beginning of the 20th century. I'm going to roll it up here a little. Due to the genocide and mass deportations of the Armenian population at the end of the Ottoman period, the Armenians abruptly vanished from their historic lands, leaving their valuables and ancient cultural monuments to the mercy of the new occupants. So then they talk about people that have been looking for treasure. And this is kind of interesting. Also, so the link for this, people of R, right here, I will put below. I'm going to put this up because I think it's beautiful and magical, and I think we can all relate to it. The Armenian Eternity Sign. Super cool. Okay, so I just wanted to show this strange picture of the water vapor over the United States. Here, and here, and then this is strange. And we have this. The whole thing looks strange, and I can't make it bigger, but I will make it move for the last 24 hours. Look at how this is right here. We have all these weird waves here, but very odd. So I'm grateful for you, and I am here at your service. Bye bye.